What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dueling Aces for December 12th on a very chilly evening.
That indeed.
Ah, we have a lot to get to, and just the pair of us for the moment. We know the stats man will be jumping in here shortly.
And that's when the show can officially start.
Well, anytime is a good time. But yes, as we missed out, first and foremost, we might as well tackle into the college football. We called it 3 weeks ago, actually. We said whoever the winner was probably going to be at 2, and the loser was probably going to be at 4, and TCU and Georgia would be there too, and nothing's changed. It's exactly as what we said it was going to be. Nothing was going to be any different. Even with USC and Alabama kind of beating on the back door per se.
Alabama can stay out. They can keep knocking all they want, but they're not getting in.
It was real interesting to see the video attempt on Sunday by Saban. I was just like, yeah, don't know how well that's going to get in, but we'll see. Good luck.
No, but no offense, but and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this too, but the committee favors Ohio State and Alabama a lot. Like they get a lot of backdoor deals made to where somehow they get in. Granted, Ohio State, as much as I don't want them in, because obviously after we destroyed them, kicked their teeth in their backyard, then they don't play a championship game, which I've shared that on Facebook and other social media platforms where Urban Meyer was the one that said himself, if you do not play for your championship game, you do not deserve to be in the playoffs. Your coach said it. Don't get mad at me that I shared it. But I understand in this situation, Ohio State got lucky that they were one of the two one loss teams or something, or one loss team that because TCU, but they ended up losing because of their championship game. But they got helped out by a lot of teams having more than one loss this year, and that's fine. You can get in. If we, I just don't want to be the type that this would be my luck that we would lose to Ohio State in the national championship. Now I'm mad because we got to win. You got to win. We need to have a rubber match.
We know that kind of was almost a setup a few years back, and it's just like it's like, do you really want to see the repeat again? I mean, granted,
all I keep hearing is
secondary go around. There are, I think, 4 or 5 healthier Buckeyes that did not participate in the other game. But I mean, is it going to be more competitive? I mean, that's a interesting, way to look at it.
Just because John hates the format.
Well, I saw everybody was already, everybody meaning the other, 4-letter networks and whatnot, all prefacing or, trying to show you, well, this is what the 12 team would look like, or the 8 team would look like, or the 10 team. It's what's yet to come. How big do they make it? We've beaten this horse, a lot on our show. But literally, I mean, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to start cutting back the actual college season. If you're going to make that playoff longer, you're going to have to put into that. So, I mean, it's kind of like the NFL. They literally knocked out another preseason game. There used to be 6 preseason games. I remember I was a little guy. There used to be 6 preseason football games.
I think 4 was too much, and I still think 3 even is too much now.
Well, actually, I don't think it's enough. If you've seen, you got a whole bunch of people who are starters that didn't play that look like garbage right now.
True.
Because it's taken so long for them to get acclimated to things. Look at Russell Wilson. Look at Derek Carr. Didn't bother playing. Look at Tom Brady. Didn't bother playing. You got to get into a rhythm. The days of skipping things, I think, are over. I mean, you think, oh, well, it's just they're the all-star. They can just plug and play.
Do what they want.
No, you can't plug and play. Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Plug and play. Nope, you can't plug and play anymore, people. You just can't. You honestly can't. So I
I
mean,
mean, but the
you
problem is even
cut that college schedule down. Who are you? I mean, who are you going to take out? I mean, you're going to sit there and try to take out your out of conference games? I don't think so. That just
you
helps
can't.
NCAA go around. So you're not going to knock that out. So that means you're going to have to start taking out some of your conference games. That could hurt you in the long run. Which one do you take out?
The Rutgers in Maryland.
Okay.
Because I mean, what have they really done since they've been in the Big Ten? And I mean, now you have USC and what UCLA coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something's got to give.
Those are two top 12 teams. You know,
Yeah.
So you're what's Sean say here? 10 regular season conference games, playoffs games, theoretically looking at 14 to 16 games.
They're playing 15, I think now. If right now Michigan's 13-0, and if they win it all, they'd be 15-0.
Right.
So that's about right where he's right in the ballpark of what they're kind of doing now. But now when it comes to 10 regular season games, I mean, so what are you going to do? Set like 8 conference games and 2 non-conference, but you better make sure your 2 non-conference are not cupcakes like they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's tricky too.
I mean, that would make what the Alabamas and the SEC stop playing their cupcake in like week 8 or 9 that they always seem to do.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, you're playing Austin P in week 9 or 10 or whatever it was. It was late in the season. So isn't he flown out yet, or shouldn't he be at the airport, or
shouldn't he be on a plane somewhere? What's up, man? Yeah, that's it's just going to be a matter of another format that's just going to have to get changed. I mean, eventually, it's like, how big do you make this thing?
Because this year was probably the first year in a long time that it could have been that we needed a better format because of all the, well, I mean, maybe not because, I mean, like I said, there's only one issue, and that was because I don't understand why people thought Alabama was going to get in over a 1-loss Ohio State. As much as I hate Ohio State, I can't knock them because they only lost 1 game on the year.
Yeah, I don't.
But the thing that I don't get is all these Ohio State fans that are whining and crying about we should have jumped to number 3. We should have jumped to. No, you shouldn't have.
No.
TCU played in the championship game while you sat at home.
Yeah, TCU played in a championship game in an overtime.
And only lost by 3.
You're not jumping. Yeah, you're not jumping that shark. That's not going to.
And technically, they lost by a couple of inches because that 4th down play where, they didn't get it on 4th and goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know. I just think a lot of the Buckeye homers that were crying out for the 3rd spot just wanted the rematch right off the rip.
I don't think that's right. It's stupid. You're not going to. You want the rematch, you're going to earn the rematch. It's that simple. If you want, you're going to earn that rematch. And
think about the ratings. Think about the ratings that if that happens, what that championship game could get for. It'd probably be the most watched national championship in history. Because they had 17 million that watched it, and it was just the end. 2 versus 3 at the final game of the season.
Right.
You're probably going to double that.
And once the super conferences are done, they're going to have their own league national champion. Not even bother with the current playoff.
It almost seems that way.
Yeah, we've had that discussion before too.
Because I mean, what do we say? It's going to basically be like the SEC, Big Ten, and like one other conference, and that's it. Is what it's going to boil down to.
Doug said Kyler Murray has been carted off the 3rd play of the game. Colt McCoy is in. Well, that's not good. That is not good news.
Bye
Wasn't
bye, Clint Kingsbury.
dealing with an injury already too? Wasn't he already dealing with an injury?
If he, I mean, it seems like every time you turn around, there's somebody that is not injured, but they're on the injury report with some sort of, nagging, lingering effect of something.
Yeah, it's not good. It is not good. It is seriously not good.
I thought Debo yesterday was going to be a lot worse too.
Yeah, it did look bad. Debo's looked really bad yesterday. I was
Worried.
I was a little concerned. I was like, well, I says, if he's hopefully just dinged, I said, at least, he's Keeneland Allen.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I know. I have him too, Clint.
Yeah, we know. But no, I think, big softy. No, I was hoping that he was going to turn out it was going to be all right. So high ankle sprain. We'll just keep our fingers crossed on that.
No, that would be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I was going to say, Fitzpatrick retired.
But he was the one that was trying out for about every team, it seemed.
Right. I was going to say, McCoy, this is after Washington. This is only his second team. Because it was Cleveland and then Washington and then Arizona. I don't remember him anywhere else.
I
don't read.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Check the wiki real quick. He has the Browns 49ers actually for a cup of coffee in 2013, then Redskins, then with the Giants for another cup of coffee, and then the Cards.
Yeah, but he didn't even play for those other teams, it feels like. So therefore it's like,
Yeah.
I think he did play for San Francisco though, like actually started a game or something because of injury.
Huh. Well, that should make the game real interesting for the Patriots. It's like, I need D-Hop to do real well tonight, but I also need Patriots running back to do well. It's like, I hope there's no defense being played and just a whole bunch of offense. That would work out greatly for me. We'll see.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna need D-Hop to go off too, but I was already in the lead as of last night, and the guy that I'm playing in one of my money leagues he's done. All his players played yesterday. So I am good. I'm just going to add on points with D-Hop at this point.
Well, it looks like Odell Beckham won't be going to Dallas now that
they said they're not done with him yet.
T.Y. Hilton's been signed by the Cowboys as
of
why? An hour and a half ago.
So they said they signed him.
I think
the reason they said they signed him is so he can play now.
Right.
Whereas Odell can't. So I get it.
Yeah, but you know what? Who's going to sit there and actually wait for Odell in January?
What up, Kareem?
What's up, Kareem? How are you, sir? Yeah, who's gonna wait for Odell when he's not even in football shape?
Did you hear the team that reached out to him and now Kansas City?
But he didn't even work out with any of the teams he met. I mean, didn't do any running, nothing. Just had a meeting. I mean, they didn't even, as far as I knew, Buffalo even said they wanted to turn around and try to get x-rays and stuff and see how the injury looked.
And he said no.
Nothing. So I don't know if he's that serious. I mean, it's like he wants to get paid, but it's like, dude, you can still do. Clint says Dallas did OBJ dirty. I have no idea. I just do not know.
That's Jerry Jones for you.
Well, it looks like Jerry isn't really really too worried about having him. Now, I know we've got a few other things popped up here, but speaking of the other injury with that leaked injury report, Clint, oh jeez. Speaking of injury, apparently Purdy injured the oblique and was having an MRI today.
Oh boy.
So I'm hoping that that's nothing too serious. They didn't even. It's just the ribs, and he's a day to day.
Who the hell's your backup now? Josh Johnson, ain't it?
Yeah. Josh Johnson is. I was going to say, if I'm Purdy, I don't let him even think about taking me off the field. I'll burrow through it. No pun intended.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's who else did that trick, dude. Yeah, don't let them take you off the field, my man. They can take you off the field after February 13th. Let them take you off the field after that.
Kid's been impressive.
Yeah, I as a 49ers fan, I'm very excited about it. I'm not gonna lie. It is a heck of a lot better than the alternative that they drafted last year. Just cannot. Just a total waste, a total absolute waste. So I think he'll be all right. I don't think it'll be too bad. I don't think it'll be too bad at all.
Did we forget anything? I know we jumped into the NFL like rapidly, but did we forget anything on the college front?
I don't think so. I mean, the bowl games start what, next weekend?
Something like, yeah, they start early, it seems.
Yeah, I was going to say they're going to be starting up real soon with ESPN Plus. I think had something out. I wasn't paying to read it all, but they turned around and they said, "Oh, what are the predictions for all 43 bowl games?" I'm like, Jesus, wait a minute, 43. I thought it was 20 something. Now it's 43 bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, try a superfecta in that deal.
Yeah. Well, I read that article, but I skimmed all the way down to the main, obviously 6. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I've seen 2 different ones where they have it. What is it? Michigan and Ohio State in the championship, and then there's one that's Michigan and Georgia.
I'd like to see Michigan and Georgia. Not gonna lie.
I know. All right, I know it's early.
The 2 undefeateds. Let them go.
I know it's early, and I'm just going to throw this out there because this is kind of an interesting tidbit. If Michigan happens to win I don't think they're going to. If they happen to win the national championship, they will have beaten all 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. And then well deserved.
That's never happened. That's never happened before.
No, that would be a pretty cool thing to have done. And they could say it was a Big Ten team to do it, not an SEC or ACC or other schleppies. It was a Big Ten team to do it.
I saw that. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting.
That'd be pretty good. Gentlemen.
Yeah, I know. I ignored him.
It's like, oh. We didn't talk too much about it. It happened, like I said, when we were off, about Griner. And
are you sure you want to touch this? Because it's a very touchy subject.
You set that up too easily. I'm going to bite my tongue. No, not going to say it. It was just too easy. You make it way too easy. Nope, not going to say it. Yes, I'm going to go there. a merchant of death, an arms dealer, and I'm just it's not. I mean, is it comparable that you're going with a WNBA player, an athlete, for more than likely some BS ordeal to begin with, as we all stated, because the war had just broke out when this goes down, for some dude who probably is going to hit, the ground running when he gets back over there. I mean, come on.
I'm sure he's already out running loose.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I think this was completely stupid. Granted, yes. Should she have even been there in the first place? No. Everybody's also up in arms about the Marine who it's like, hey, how about that guy? He went over for a wedding, and all of a sudden it's, oh, he was a spy. Oh, come on, man. We're sick and tired of the bull crap. And that's the game that they want to play right now because there's a lot of sanctions against Russia, and it's like, well, all right. They'll just keep turning around and trying to play this game, and they're just, it's like, hey, guess what, folks? Mick Manhattan on the Scene Snubs even said, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. You guys can go travel abroad all you want. I'm staying home.
I look at it as this: she knew she knew. My best way to sum it up is play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I mean, she should have known better. I mean, would she have felt that way if she'd have got popped here?
Well, the question is, would she have? Because it's legal in whatever, a whole bunch of states right now. But it's like somebody apparently didn't do the research before she left.
Right.
So,
I mean, I'm just trying to tread lightly on how I word things just because everybody always wants to jump to the race card with everything, and it's nothing about that.
No, and it isn't. Ah, Mr. Zolt.
Perfect timing. Brittany Griner talk.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know.
No, and it's not and it's the furthest thing from being race.
I just look at it as like, how bad is Putin just laughing in our face? Like the worst trade in any kind of history of any kind.
Well, the Baker Mayfield trade was kind of worse.
As I suggested, if we sent him over there, that would be a pretty decent trade. Regardless, and we don't have to get anything back.
You can have him for free.
U.S. citizens sitting in a Russian labor camp. Bring them home. I really don't care if you give up an arms deal. I really don't care because none of that is ever going to affect us. It's not. The dude, how long have we had this dude? Wasn't it like 12 years, 14 years sitting in our justice system, just sitting there? Go back. I'm all for bringing Paul Whelan home. I'm bring them all home. You're not giving up anything that is going to substantially benefit them. It's not. And the fact of the matter is, he knew exactly what he was doing by making that deal, and it had nothing to do with who he was getting. He made that deal because he knew sending her home to here would do so much more damage to us by dividing us even more. Because of how many people are going to look at that and say, well, that was a horrible deal. Or she should, she did the crime. She should be sitting over there. He knew exactly what he was doing. This is like his stock in trade. Even back when he was in charge of the KGB, that is what he does. To them, this had nothing to do with what he was getting. I mean, honestly, if he wanted If he wanted that guy back, he could have had him back a long time ago in a different deal. So this was purely about, this is going to drive people over their nuts. So let's send her back and get something in the process.
Well, like we said, we're a couple of weeks behind on it, but it's like right now, you haven't heard anything about, when she got home, what's been going on since. Nobody said anything.
No.
I mean, the WNBA season doesn't actually even kick off until April, May. I mean, right along after. No, actually, it'd be even after that, because basketball finals are in May to June. So yeah, it won't even.
And I'm far be it. I
Year?
don't think for a second I can put myself in that pair of shoes in any way, shape, or form. I can't.
No, none of us could.
I gotta believe coming home, the last thing on my mind would be playing a season. Like legit, let me just come home and breathe air. Let me get a damn pizza. Let me something. Well, like I said, I think there's a lot going around just about this. We shouldn't have done this. 100% bring everybody home, because everybody that's stuck over there is a pawn. Everybody knows it. I'm not saying anything was made up, except for the fact that they seem a little bit, I don't know, they seem to stretch punishments for whatever reason as far out as they feel they need to either make a point or, just to add a little bit of leverage. Bring them home, because nobody deserves to be stuck over there.
Agreed.
I'm just kind of getting, I don't know what Clint's comment was about, but he said something about the Marines not as clean as everybody makes them out to be.
Okay, I don't want to get super deep into things. Paul Whelan is an ex-Marine, and yes, I know people say once a Marine, you're never an ex-Marine. He was discharged for bad conduct.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's an ex-Marine. And I'm again, bring him home. He doesn't deserve to be there.
Touche. I got you. I just didn't know his whole backstory. I guess we should have looked at it. I didn't really get into it other than just, from what I saw on the news. I didn't have to do any.
Again, rabbit hole. And the only reason I know some of the stuff I know is that used to be kind of, I don't want to say a hobby, but it was an area of interest, political science, especially in the international relations. It just was. We ain't got nearly the show and the bandwidth to talk about.
No,
most of what we would need to talk about to have that background.
No, that's a You're Out of Bounds up series.
Yeah, I was going to
say series. That ain't even a series, man. That is a You're Out of Bounds series.
We'd be doing prep work that involves a degree in something,
right? Well, we'll finalize on that, and Mike is definitely hitting a nail right on the head very quickly from what we heard this morning. That is, I read the couple of things that had come out through social media on what exactly was going on, and what a scary situation this morning.
I tried to keep you guys updated as best I could.
No, and it was, I when I first heard about it, actually, it's on the NFL radio, they actually had brought it up and said that he was being rushed to the hospital and it was not going well. And so they even made a snippet about it during the update. And it was just like, wow, okay. But being a head coach is the pro coaches even tell you it's a full-blown lifestyle, and it could end up taking you. It could totally take you.
prime example as to why life's too short. It proves it right there. I mean, he was just, you know, I think I saw an interview on him or something the other day. They were talking about the different mascots of the Pac-12 or whatever, and he was doing it, and it's like, you know, now all of a sudden he has the heart attack or I think they're saying it was a heart attack, and he had been without medical attention for 10 to 15 minutes. And what do they say? What is it, 2 to 3 minutes without oxygen to your brain, and you're already in trouble?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously got a little bit of leeway. They said massive heart attack, so massive heart attack. Yeah, you need help fast. And 10, 15 minutes. I'm assuming he was probably alone in a room or in an office or wherever he was, and got found after the heart attack.
And that may have even been the time frame for them to get to him. So
depending on where he was,
you know, yeah. So it is just a very sad.
And again, I don't think we've seen anything official. Everything has been under the exactly. That they are saying that, you know, half the family's there. They're waiting on the other half of the family to get there. So I mean, that's generally not a good sign. So, like I said, you know, prayers to the family. It's a horrible situation to be in.
Absolutely.
I always like the guy. I mean, you can't. He's not a guy. You know, he's easy to like. He's an easy, you know, likable kind of guy, just the way he is. You know, might have some weird views, but hey, don't we all?
Well, of course. Have you seen this show?
Yeah, I brought it up.
We've had a lot of panelists with a bunch of weird takes on this show. Are you kidding? Yeah, Mike says, yeah, always loved his interviews. You know, and
I kind of feel bad. We always do the college football results away.
That's all right. If I have something that has to be heard, y'all see it in the group chat.
Speaking of which, Dave, I have the first one fired up, sir.
Oh, what do we got? Is it the one I sent you?
Yes,
it is. Okay, so before
I watched this live, and like I said, it was on Red Zone, so it happened pretty quick.
Yeah, you don't pick it up. But before you hit play, so earlier in the game, Jameson Williams, you know, our rookie wide receiver. This is game number 2. Game number 1, he barely saw the field, which is fine. He's coming back from an ACL. Take your time. So early in the game, his first reception of his NFL career is what, a 41-yard touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
You turn around from that and you have a play like this. And this play tells me 2 things. Number 1, I think it tells me this guy wants to be out there and he is enjoying the hell out of being on the playing field. And number 2, I'm thinking this is one of those symbols that you look at. This is somebody has bought in. He has bought into what he needs to do for this team. So what we're going to watch is that no, it's a Jackson. 42 is Jackson. It's a run by Jackson to the left, and Jameson Williams just blocks. That's all he does is block. He throws in very nice block.
It's impressive.
George, I think you said it's on the linebacker too, right?
Yes, it is.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah.
10th play of the drive. Justin Jackson inside the 10.
They'll show a different angle.
He dives for a Lions touchdown.
That little guy?
That little guy, that linebacker.
3 times his size. And just said, get out of the way.
10 to the 5. He dives for a Lions touchdown.
I mean, that wasn't just no little hit. That was a big hit.
No,
that got him off balance. That was a very big hit.
And to start with, I mean, he's going full tilt at him. Yes, the linebacker's looking away to start. That linebacker could have looked at him at any time, and that hit is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And literally took him wide out of the play. I mean, he knocked him clean into the center of the field. Right with the shoulder. I mean, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Honestly, I think
you
your whole
I was just going to say, you trade up in the first round for a wide receiver who's coming off of a torn ACL.
And does that.
You love to see it. Love to see his first full game. You couldn't have asked for more.
No, Dan Campbell must be a very happy camper.
this is weird seeing a Lions fan getting excited.
You know, we learn very early on in our lives to temper the expectations.
Gotcha.
I just love what I'm seeing right now because this team is playing and they're playing to win every game.
What are they on, a 4-game winning streak?
Is it 4 or 5?
Oh my gosh! That's the thing. I'm getting there.
I'm bringing up Tankathon because they always have that. Oh no, it says it's only 2. Hang on, I don't buy that.
Yep, it is only 2.
Is it only 2? All right.
It's only.
Well, because the Bills game was sandwiched in between there.
It was the past 4 out of 5 this morning. They said it was the past 4 out of 5 they've won. They are on a nice little roll. They are.
They played Buffalo damn well on Thanksgiving too.
It is 5. It's 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6.
Yes, because that's coming off of a 4-loss streak. They lost 4 in a row and then just rattled off 5 out of 6. And let's go down the rest of the schedule because there's only 4 games left.
Oh, I happen to have the Lions defense in a couple fantasy leagues because of it. Are you kidding?
Okay, you are at the Jets, which is that's not the easy game we thought it was going to be, or had an inkling it might be. At Carolina, that could be the easy game that we thought it was going to be. Home against Chicago, and at Green Bay in January.
Which Green Bay right now looks like
Green Bay's
biggest.
They're not looking good.
No,
and if there is a team that is probably built to just try to take Smash Mouth to you in the snow, this might be that team.
The best part of yesterday afternoon was seeing the Lions in the hunt in the first
Yeah.
team, in the hunt column, and I'm going,
Yeah.
Isn't that a nice little kick in the shorts?
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, they could probably end up with a better record than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I mean, look at that division right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that might not get them in.
Clint even says that game could possibly be without Aaron Rodgers playing.
It could.
Well, yeah, actually, you hope he is because Jordan Love is a whole different animal. That's for sure. But right now, we know that a team has clinched, and that is the Eagles at 12-1. So we know that they are for sure in right now. The Cowboys. Who told the Texans they can play football?
Simple question when it comes to the Cowboys. What kind of team is this? Because I do not get what I'm seeing from this team because it just doesn't make sense from week to week.
It's Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
The Texans rolled into Dallas and they were rolling the Cowboys. I mean, rolling. I was like,
like I said in the chat,
they could play. I'm sitting there thinking, all of our picks are shot for this game.
Well, like I said in the chat, like, is it the Texans actually showed up to play, or did the Cowboys just overlook the Texans?
I don't know.
I think Dallas overlooked. I really do. I mean,
well,
I
know
think
they
definitely
got something coming up soon too, so that's why I wondered if they were looking ahead.
They can't afford to do that. They really can't. I mean, yeah, Washington and the Giants right now, I know somebody flexed that game. They're wishing that they didn't now. because those two teams are in the basement of the division. I mean, yeah, it could still be that maybe that winner gets a wild card spot, but there's a lot.
It's a Cellar Dweller Bowl. That's all that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people competing for that cellar dweller spot. Besides Washington, New York, Detroit, if Green Bay can survive, Carolina and Atlanta still are only one. God, I can't believe I got to say this. Are one game out with the Buccaneers losing.
Carolina needs to stop winning so we can get a better draft pick.
And then the Seahawks looked just atrocious yesterday.
Yeah. Just to reverse it back to Dallas for a second, running off the remainder of their schedule, 4 games. At Jacksonville, not a cakewalk.
Nope.
Home against Philly, definition of not a cakewalk.
Nope.
No.
Granted, you are home, but at the same time, you might need that game. At Tennessee, again, not a cakewalk.
Ooh.
At Washington, which could very well decide who gets in and who doesn't.
I cannot believe we're even talking about Washington and who gets in and who doesn't.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. All 4 teams in that division are in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Giants were the ones that were noted as in the hunt, though. Because of the tie. So it's like, all right, they turn around and Washington technically is over them with.
Wait, so you said that? So they flexed the Washington the Giants game?
Yeah, that is
Saturday night or Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Sunday night is Giants Commanders.
Yeah, this
Sunday night.
So you want to flex the game that the first time they played to a tie. We want to see that again.
Yes.
Really? I mean, come on.
I honestly though, if they do it again, that's got to be history, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we might not beat you, but we won't lose to you either.
Yeah, I was gonna say that totally would be.
Chipper's got a question for you in the comments there. Campbell in the coach of the year discussion.
I mean, right now, no, but if they keep winning,
Then yes.
sure, put them in the conversation. If they make the playoffs, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you this, and I know, like I said, because I know you guys have that Rams pick, which is like sitting at number 3 right now.
I think it's 4. Right now it's 4 because Rams won.
The thing, the Woodward Sports thing that I watched was at 3. And I was like, I know you're a Michigan guy, and they're bringing it up. Detroit sitting at 3, where are we going? They gave out 3 options, and one of the options was C.J. Stroud. Because they said Bryce Young's going to go 1, and then probably Will Anderson's going to go 2. So that leaves you guys at 3 pretty much.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this at all because it goes completely against what I've said for 2/3 of the season so far. We might be able to live with Goff. Might.
Whoa.
Ooh, I just
look at what they're doing though. They are making it work and they have an offense. The offense has not been their problem.
It's the defense.
He is making throws that 6 games ago he was not making. Like literally stepping up into the pocket, into the face of the defender and making the pass, making the pinpoint pass, and then taking the hit. He has.
What did he have, 330?
I'm sorry?
What do you have, like 330 yesterday?
It was a large number.
Yeah, it was not very Goff-like.
No. But at the same time, that's what the offense has been doing. And
right.
I don't know. I'm not saying Goff is the answer. I'm saying our OC, Ben Johnson, might be the answer because he sure seems to know what he is doing. Even the third down pass to your right tackle, who report eligible for play.
Yeah.
Where do you pull that out from?
Hey, they said, screw it. We're winging it. Why not?
And they literally say they practice the linemen catching passes every week. That is something that they practice.
Yeah, Mike, we turned around and brought that up earlier. We saw that it was on the third play of the game. Mr. Kaufman is wanting to voice his opinion.
Doug, control yourself.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, okay? Not even midway through the first quarter, and you just go, he just got off the plane. Why not? What the hell?
Well, with the kind of season the Rams have been having, when you only have 3 wins, at this point, what do you have to lose?
But the guy literally was on the plane with McVay on the flight back to LA and literally crash coursed the Notebook in 3 hours.
Well, I think the funny thing is that
one practice, they said, one, and threw 20 passes. That was it. It's like, wait a minute, he did what? And then did what? Okay.
I kind of wish
I even sat here going, what am I watching? This cannot be happening. I'm like, is this really happening?
It happened.
It happened.
Well, I think it was funny that I'm kind of wishing that the Rams wouldn't have put the waiver claim in for him, because he said he bought the ticket for the flight to LA before he was even claimed by the Rams. So it's like, for it to be like very Baker-esque to, hey, I bought my flight to LA, but yeah, they didn't claim me, so I guess I'm just going to go hang out in LA for a couple days.
Nah, dude, he was going to LA one way or the other, whether it was to play or to party. It didn't matter. He was going.
He was going to knock on the door. I mean, I don't wish anything bad about the kid.
He's a football player. If you catch on, you catch on. That's to answer your question. 330 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's what I thought.
Quarterback rating of 120.7.
Wow.
To be honest, he was the second best quarterback in that game, because Cousins had a 124.5. Although, to be fair, with the amount of crap I give Kirk Cousins, if Goff is in that neighborhood, I'm okay with that, because you can win with that. And I'm just wondering if those first round picks won't be better spent on the defense and improving that. Which, not to say that the defense has been stepping up the past few weeks, but we know there's holes there. Why don't we plug some of those holes? We still have Goff under contract. So let's roll.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was kind of nice to see Aiden slam Kirk Cousins down. Not going to lie. I was happy with that.
Looking for some more of that.
Chipper, the reason why they did not, everything in week 18 is to be determined, because they will put the better matchups for the weekend, literally, and break it up, and we'll put them Saturday and Sunday just like they need to, and we'll put the best games into their nationally televised slots instead of just throwing anybody in wherever. So that's why they still have not announced who's doing what where. And of course, every game is a divisional game, so it's just going to be a matter of who's got something to play for. Those are the people that are going to be in those 6 spots. Very simple. Very simple.
Yeah. Clint, as far as Cousins, Cousins has always been known as that guy that he's going to have bad weeks in which you're going to hate him, but at the same time, he's also going to have those weeks where you wish you had started him. And that was before he was throwing to Justin Jefferson. So the fact that he's got Jefferson there, plus you have a running game, he's definitely a start. I mean, yeah, he's still going to have those weeks where you're questioning, why is this guy on my roster? But I mean, it's okay. Picture this. It's like having Andy Dalton if he actually had good weeks.
Oh boy, Clinton Dalton. Here we go again.
Wow.
You just ruined this moment. You know that, right?
And Jalen Hurts he has earned his money. There's no other way I can say it. He has earned his money.
Yeah.
$100%.
And Doug agrees with me. You know what? Get that defense. That second pick, you're probably looking at a corner. You can definitely get a decent corner at wherever that middle first round is going to be. I don't know about that first pick. I honestly haven't looked hard enough yet to see what will be there. I don't know what's there in the top 5. I just, having played against Stroud, I'm not terribly sure that's the direction I want to go.
I just thought I'd throw that out there because I'm like, it's just weird to see like it. I understand the quarterback need, but and being obviously the whole Michigan Ohio State thing kind of just it was just weird to see them guys talking about the Ohio State quarterback, considering they always do good in college, but they don't ever really amount to much in the pro. I mean, in NFL. I mean, granted, Justin Fields is trying. I mean, he was the one that I said it would be the one, but. Yeah, I'm just not sure what your needs were. That's why I thought maybe you got to ask the Lions fan. So,
I mean, linebacker, secondary help. We
what about
definitely
tight
need
end?
another corner. I'm thinking we have linemen. We'll just shift them to tight end, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Because I figured that first pick would be too early to take a tight end, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for this regime, I hope. I honestly, if you're picking number 3, number 4, if you've got a premium edge rusher, you're not going to say no because you can't have too many.
True. It's true.
But we definitely need linebacker help.
What if you guys package? You move up and take the kid from Alabama.
Like I said, I haven't gone too in depth into the draft prep yet. It's way too early for me to do that. I mean, the only thing I'm drafting for right now is next year's fantasy league, but that's a separate type of draft prep that comes from when you're not in the playoffs.
Yeah, I really hate getting drafting in that 10 spot. It really sucks.
Every league.
Not this year. I ended up in the 10 spot this year. Don't want to hear it. And somebody left me Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Speaking of don't want to hear it.
But you know what? It's either you can get real lucky getting that 10 spot and just being able to wing it. Like I said, I definitely wasn't expecting those two bodies to be there. I was headed a totally different route, had my 4, and I went, well, you just threw that right on out of the window and just literally just sat there and winged it the rest of the way. And it's like, they do all the draft prep in the world, but it's just like, all right, once I got to my pick, it's like, well, damn, I didn't know that this person was going to be there or this person. Screw it.
Yeah.
All I was doing was just checking off the depth chart sheet. That's all I did.
If we're coming down to the fantasy football post-mortem, I can tell you right now, it's like number 1, one of my sleeper running backs being Javonte Williams did not help. Because when did we hit him? Week 3?
Early.
He was gone. Taking a quarterback late can usually, in my opinion, you can make that work generally. But when the quarterbacks when Russell Wilson turns into Russell Wilson of 2022, you're dead. Especially in a league like Georgia's.
Yeah. Chipper wants you to take Devin Bush from the Steelers.
You just calm down. Just calm down.
I do have to thank you and Mr. Andrew for letting me have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs again in your league. That I appreciate that again.
As you should. Although the past couple weeks,
I know
it's looking a little shaky.
It's looking pretty shaky. It is looking very shaky.
I will say thank God for Jerick McKinnon this week, though. Because good Lord, he saved my butt in your league, sleeper league.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's coming on. But Kansas City, I think they found their 1-2 punch right there, and CEH is not in the equation.
He's
not.
He will be an off-season casualty.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think Kansas City's found what they've been looking for, and as long as Mahomes doesn't keep throwing interceptions, I think they'll be okay. He said it a couple weeks ago. He said flat out, as long as I stop making that one stupid mistake, it's like, well, yeah, yesterday you made several of those. Several stupid mistakes over and over and over again. No, needless to say. I was like, come on, stop it already. All you did was make Denver look good on the comeback, and Rippon coming in for Russell, which, by the way, I don't know if you got to see the picture of the big welt that was on his head when they freeze framed him. It was like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, I knew when he took the hit because he got up and he was dazed. He had that star. He was looking at stars.
When they showed that close up of him on the ground, you saw the eyeballs were almost rolling back into his head. You knew it was lights out. There was no way. There was no way at all. He was definitely. He was coming out of the game. It was like, nope, sorry, you've done what you could, and he even wanted to see, if they would have scored a touchdown on that drive. It's like, no, dude. Into the tent, let's go. Quit trying to watch the game. We need to check on you. Let's go.
Which running back did you have for tonight, George?
What's that?
Which running back did you have tonight? Stevenson?
Yeah.
He's out.
Already?
Yeah, I just saw a thing. Albert Breer just tweeted out that he's out. Him and Parker are both out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know he started. He had a couple
of he is questionable. Questionable to return with an ankle.
Well, falling to third in Zolt's league. That's going to hurt.
That means you actually got to play somebody next week.
Yeah. I know. That's going to suck. Oh, well. It is what it is. Well, boys and girls, looky who has graced us with his presence.
This is my annual pilgrimage to my mom's to help her put up her Christmas tree.
Sweet.
Now he's a Bengals fan?
House. Yes.
I'm not at my mom's house. I was. I'm home now. My mom has that giant bay window that she puts a Christmas tree up in, and she's a 10-foot tall tree every year, and she's 4'8". So you do the math. It's a 2-day process, a 3-day process. It's one day to go. It's one day to go get the tree. The next day we put it up, and then it has to sit so that all of the boughs fall pretty. And then the third day we can decorate it.
I was gonna say, it reminds me. My mom had mentioned my brother surprised her and brought the tree by, and he put it up for her, and she was using one hand to try to decorate her tree this afternoon already. And she said that, it gave her something to do, which is cool. So kudos for helping out Mom.
I do every year.
James Conner down, concussion. Oh, he's in the blue tent. Oh, everybody dropping like flies in this game. What the hell?
Yeah, I ain't doing nothing.
I was shocked at the amount of picks I got right.
Haven't even floated it over.
I'm going to say this. I was phenomenal in the 1 o'clock games, and then 4 o'clock hit, and I just tanked.
Right.
4 o'clock is where I managed to I managed to like I there were a bunch where I'm like, I'm gonna lose this one, and then like the Cowboys eked one out, but I think I might have been the only person to pick the Lions.
Oh, I did.
I had them. It's funny. It was funny.
And I was like, because I sent George my picks Thursday evening.
Yeah.
And I picked the Lions, and I hemmed and hawed over that game for a minute. Because I was looking at the records, and I'm like, well, but the last time, like, the Lions are weird. I'll pick them. Fuck it. Let's just pick the Lions. And then I saw the final score, and I was like, yes, I did it right.
Well, I mean, it's funny. We didn't have the show last week, so we all send in picks, and nobody knows what anybody picked. But if we had had the show, I guarantee we would have covered the fact that, Minnesota was 10-2, Detroit was 5-7, and Detroit was favored in that.
Were they really?
Yes, they were a 2.5-point favorite.
Wow.
I didn't have the Salt report with the numbers. That's why I didn't.
That's what it was.
See, I didn't even know they were favored. I just Detroit has played people in the NFC North particularly tough this year. And I really think that within the next 2 years, they're going to be a division winner.
I'll take it. And I think Minnesota, especially the last 4 or 5 games that they've played, they have a great record, and their offense is top notch, but their defense has a habit of giving away games.
Sounds like another NFC North team we know that used to be really good on offense and terrible on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whose house is that?
That's
Not mine. It's not mine.
There it is.
It is not mine. And we barely heard that. It's because it was quiet and we caught it.
I'm psyched. Next Sunday for our D&D group, we get to play late because I don't have to go to work on Monday. We're off all next week for Christmas.
Wow.
That's a nice gig.
Yes.
I might be off 2 weeks, so I got you beat. Not by choice, though.
Did you get fired?
Laid off.
Oh.
Technically, I mean, we'll see. As of right now, I'm working. This week I'll have a full week, and then next week they're going down to like 7 crews.
Want to come be a mechanic or a parts guy?
No.
Sure.
Parts guy maybe, but I don't know nothing about. I'm not very. I'll spend more time cussing at things than I would fixing things.
Well, we need a parts guy. I know a guy who works there. You get to listen to people tell you I'm mean and loud.
I already knew that.
No.
Exactly.
No.
I've also been banished to the far end of the house for the rest of the evening.
Dang.
I have some pretty nasty flatulence this evening.
Oh God.
We made homemade chili dogs for dinner last night.
Ooh, yeah.
And there were leftovers, and that was my dinner. And they're
Barking back.
This is why we don't do a studio show, folks. Right.
It's bad.
Not lying.
It's bad. We were helping put the Christmas tree up, and I farted. My mom started yelling at her dog because she thought the dog shit in the house.
Oh,
I was crying.
I would have been on the floor.
She's yelling at the poor dog, and the dog's looking at like my mom is walking all over the downstairs of the house looking for where this dog shit, and she's yelling at the dog. And the poor dog's like, "What did I do?" and I couldn't breathe long enough to tell her it was me.
Well played. Well played. That's awesome.
Oh God.
Oh,
It's all right. I got 3 name called by my mom too tonight.
Ooh.
Connor's down again, apparently.
What's that?
Doug just said that Connor's down again. It looks like he's unconscious.
Ooh, that's not good.
We're putting up the tree, and my mom has to look at it like an architect. Like she's got to look at the window and make sure all that, tie
Just
it
like the
off.
leg game.
When she's looking at the tree, and she no matter where we move it, she goes, "Man, this tree's just not straight." And I said, "It's like your granddaughter."
Oh. Yeah, he went there, folks.
And
Wow.
the girl child who was in the room started laughing because she thought it was funny. And my mom goes, "Andrew Paul Salzwimmer." I was like, yes. That's what
It's funny you bring that up because there was a sweet video on TikTok where there's a dad and he's got his daughter over his left shoulder. He goes, "I'm a Southern dad," and he goes, "My daughter just told me the 2 worst words you can hear as a Southern father." He goes, "Go ahead." He goes, "Go on." He goes, "Tell him what it is." She goes, "I'm gay." He goes, No, not those." He goes, "I'm okay with that." He goes, "I have no problem with that." He goes, "The other 2." She goes, "Roll Tide." He goes, "That's it. Get your shit. You're getting out."
That's a good dad right there.
That's what I said. He goes, "That's it. Pack yourself. You're out." We all have the hatred for Alabama, so we can all laugh at that one.
Right.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys. So we've all been involved in youth sports in some way or another, right? George coaches. We all played at one point. We've had friends whose kids play. We've gone to games or whatnot. I have a situation with the boy child that I don't know quite how to resolve.
Okay.
So last Saturday, they played they were the visiting team for another team's Monsters game. So they go play. I'm sure the Red Wings do it, Tampa Bay and all that, where they'll bring like a youth hockey team on before and they play the game and then they go to the game afterward. Well, we were the visiting team. We're in the elevator coming up from the bottom level afterward, and the goalie on the other team was in the elevator with us, and so was one of the other coaches. And the goalie on the other team had this really nice save towards the end of the game, and I congratulated him on it. And Thomas yells, "Well, my saves were better." And everybody in the locker room was like, "Hey, man, you can't do that. Like, that's not cool. I get you frustrated. It's fine. But you can congratulate other players." Well, the other coach grabs me as we're getting off the elevator, and he says, "Hey, when we were out on the ice, when we were doing the handshake, he looked at one of the assistant coaches and said, you're garbage and your team cheated." And I immediately flagged that other coach down because he was about 20 feet ahead of us. And I made Thomas repeat it to me while I was standing there at the coach. And Thomas got an earful from the queue through that. Zolt won't know where this is, but George and Adam will. From the queue through that parking garage, down the street, all the way to the parking lot of the Thirsty Parrot where we parked. And then an earful from the Thirsty Parrot all the way to Harry Buffalo.
Oh. Oh. Does he have an ear left?
Yes.
Wow. That is the time frame of that has got to be almost 25 minutes.
15, 20. Yeah.
Wow.
And he said, "Well, were you mad at me?" I said, "I'm not mad. I'm not even angry." I said, "I'm disappointed in you."
which is worse sometimes.
Which is worse,
But,
yeah.
but he goes, "What does disappointed mean?" And then I had to explain it to him. Because if you spent any time around Thomas, and George, you've been around him,
Mhm.
you know that he is very literal.
Yep.
He doesn't understand figure of speech. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to spell it out for him. Well, the punishment, and I thought making him skate sprints, and because he hates skating, hates it because he has all his pads on. It's hard for him. I said, I'm not going to do that. So we came up with a pretty ingenious punishment, I think. He doesn't get to change in his team's locker room anymore. He changes outside. He goes in for the team meeting. Then after the game, he's in there for the team meeting, and then he has to wait for the rest of the team, and then he can change. Instead of wearing his practice jersey, he has to wear his game jersey because now he has to earn his jersey every practice. And when coach says he can come back into the locker room, that's when he can go back into the locker room and change with the team. But for right now, you have to earn being on that team.
Wow.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
as a dad and someone who is involved with youth sports, I don't know if I handled that correctly. And I know we've all been involved in it in some way. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion. And I think it leads to a broader discussion of how do we mold good teammates out of kids, especially when you see how the parents behave in the stands.
Well, you definitely avoided one of the very first things that I just am a I'm not a big fan of, or proponent of, is you don't punish them with the physicality, like you said about the skating thing. It's just it really doesn't serve any purpose.
It sends the wrong message, I think.
Right now, did the other grouping, if they miss free throws or whatever, they're running laps around the gym. It's like, look, you miss a free throw, you just have to keep standing there until you make your free throw. Eventually, you're going to get the free throw. I'd rather have you sit there and keep missing it 8 or 9 times, and then finally on the 10th time, you're getting your free throw. Stopping and running does nothing. So you just keep staying there. It's like if the group messes up something, I just yell, stop, reset, do it again. Stop, reset, do it again. Just keep redoing it until you guys, once we show them, because we have to show them, it's like, okay, you messed up freeze. It's like, here, back it up a couple steps. This is where you needed to go through. You let them know, you lead them. And like you said, you had to break it down and explain it to them. You did everything right. And as far as earning your spot back, it is an ingenious ordeal. Yeah, I totally agree. I think you handled it correctly. Yes, there are other parents who are going to do their own thing, and the way that they happen to be. I mean, I've seen 30 years of it plus, and yeah, it's sometimes you just sit there and shake your head, and you're just like, wow, they just don't get it.
No, and the two other coaches that are on the team are defensive coaches. They're defensemen in just men's beer leagues. And they understand the basics of offense and whatnot, but they're more defensive. There's not anybody on the team that coaches him as a goalie. That coaches the boy child as a goalie. So I will yell at him from the stands, and we've come up with like sign language. So because you can't really hear on the ice, but if I make like the Hulk motion like that with my arms, it means work hard, because he tends to slack off during the game. You do the old watch the puck. He gets it, like he understands that, but I feel for him because he said something to me the other day, and it about broke my heart. Because he said, "Dad, why don't I have very many friends?" And I was like, well, you're mean. I was like, you say things to people that are really mean. And you may not mean it, but you let your anger get the better of you and you say those things, and then they don't want to be around you. And I was like, man, it's gotta suck to be 9 and like not have, because I remember being 9 and 10, and there was a whole group of kids that I ran around the neighborhood with.
Times
And
have changed though too, though.
What's that?
Times have changed a lot between with how kids are nowadays. A lot of kids don't even leave the house.
Oh yeah.
No, but this kid, man, from May to October, he lives outside. He's playing in the sand pile. He's playing in the lake. He's running through the yard. He's playing in the rain. Like, he lives outside. It's fine. I don't, it doesn't bother me one bit. Like, I thought hockey would be a way to help curb some of that ADHD autism spectrum line that he tiptoes on, and it does to an extent, but the side effect of that I have learned is the things that we learned through sports are way more difficult for him because of how literal he is. During the conversation, during the ear chewing, I was like, Thomas, you got in trouble a couple weeks ago at school because you told somebody they were garbage. And he goes, I didn't call them garbage. I called them trash. And I said, dude, it's the same thing. And then I watched the light bulb kind of go off of, oh, trash and garbage are the same thing. So, you know what I mean? It's just weird. Like, I never thought as a parent this would be like a bridge I would have to cross.
Just random question, Bruce. Does he game a lot at all? Video game?
He doesn't. He watches a lot of YouTube videos, but he got banned from the PlayStation when he spent $48 on Fortnite bucks.
Oh,
after already getting in trouble like 6 months before that for doing the same thing.
I only asked that because I'm just curious, because there's things you do in game, such as calling people trash, you get away with. And honestly, it's almost expected. But if you actually take that and convert that to a real life situation like a hockey game in a post-game handshake line, totally different scenario.
Yeah. And the thing, and I've tried to explain to him, like, you can't say those things. Because he did bring up like the Fortnite video he watched where somebody, and I said, Thomas, I said, that's the internet where people say things to say them, and they say mean things because they think they can get away with it. I said, if you're older, I said, if you're playing, the one kid that he really likes, Zane, plays Bantam. And Zane has tried to help him as a goalie. And Zane's not a bad goalie. The kid's had some looks from the USA junior team, like the low level USA junior team. The kid's a pretty good goalie. I said, if you played Bantams like Zane or high school and you sell somebody they were trash in the handshake line, you're getting punched. I said, that's a fight, Thomas. I said, you can't say things to people in the real world and not expect real world consequences.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things is there's too much YouTube watching going on because they see that there are no consequences of the ignorant that are posting a lot of videos. I mean, there's a lot of kids doing really stupid things, and it's like, oh, we're okay. And it's like, no, it's not going to be okay when you do it for real, just to let you know.
We've really kind of limited the YouTube watching, like because you can type in the keywords in there. And with the older one, I never worried about parental guidelines on anything. Yeah, there was stuff that she saw on the internet that she probably shouldn't have seen, but I looked at it as more of a learning opportunity than a trying to be a strict parent.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but with him and how literal he takes everything, and I know he's not the only kid that does it. You know, I think the stat I saw the other day was 1 in 56. 1 in 56 children now is somewhere along the autism spectrum. So I know when we got him diagnosed with ADHD and we went and saw the neurologist that the pediatric neurologist like, well, he's hitting his milestones. He's fine. He's not, I wouldn't put him on the spectrum at all. And now that he's older, I'm like, man, I think we should get him relooked at because he's if he's not over the line, he tiptoes it all day, every day. But like with the proliferation of YouTube and like streaming services, especially with younger kids playing. I mean, when you played Halo with your buddies or GoldenEye with your buddies back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and someone teabagged you, you leaned across the bed and punched them. You know, they weren't 4,000 miles away and across the country.
True.
So, like, I think a lot of that has led to a breakdown in how kids talk to each other and how kids function in a team environment like sports.
Well, like right now, I mean, I've officiated through a long stretch, and just to hear the kids, the way they talk to each other on the floor in play of the games, you know, it can get a little ugly pretty fast. And I mean, even with 7, 6, 7, 8-year-olds,
that's what shocks me is the age.
But the thing is they don't know any better. You know, they just think, you know, they're going out there and, you know, what they've seen on TV, you know, watching sports on TV, it's like, oh, I can do this. And, you know, well, that's what they do on TV. That's their excuse. And it's just like, no, you've got to separate that. Like you just said, there's real world and then there's the other.
Well,
whether it be the internet, whether it be the TV, whether it be movies, you know, it has been an ongoing ordeal all the time. And
that's the crazy part of it to me is like the girl child plays rugby, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking on her squad, it's anywhere from 15 to 18-year-olds. And I've heard those girls say stuff on the pitch that would make a longshoreman blush. Like, I thought I was mean. Those girls are mean. And I think at that age, it's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? You're old enough to have a defined sense of right and wrong and how to leave that anger somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I'm not condoning some of the things I've heard them say, but I'm also not going to be up in arms about it. But some of the stuff that I've heard, I've heard kids on Thomas's hockey teams that he's played against that, and I'm like, where did you learn that? Like I told you, he took a swing at a kid in Pittsburgh, right?
No.
So Halloween weekend, we played in Pittsburgh. They played 2 games in Pittsburgh. 1 game Saturday afternoon, 1 game Sunday morning. The Saturday afternoon game was pretty close. The Sunday morning game was a blowout. And towards the end of the third period, the one kid who had been kind of the show off and whatnot from the day before and Sunday game was really amping it up. and he took a shot on goal, and Thomas tried to block it, and the one defenseman on Thomas's team was down there, and he was trying to help, and they all just kind of collided, right? And the goal ended up going in. Well, the kid was laying on Thomas's stick and on Thomas, and then on Cam's stick, and wouldn't get up. And then he finally got up, and he turned and said something to Thomas, and Thomas skated after him and took a big mean swing with his glove hand at the back of the kid's head. And after the game, I pulled him aside. I said, "You can't do that. You can't behave like that on the ice. I don't care how mad you get. You know, the dad thing. Like, you can't do that, right? You're the only goalie. If you get a 5-minute major for fighting, you're in the box for 5 minutes. There's no goalie on the team, Thomas. You're it. You can't do that."
Well,
so we're driving home, and I said, "What'd he say to you?" He wouldn't tell me. About a day later, he goes, "Dad." I said, "Yeah." He said, "That kid called me a bad name." I said, "What'd he call you, Thomas? What bad name could he have called you that was worth you taking a swing at him?" And he said, "He called me a bad name that they call sissy."
Oh, gotcha.
The British would call it a cigarette.
Right.
And I went, "Oh, okay." And then I thought about it, and I was like, where did a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old hear that word?
Gotta be from home.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotta be from home.
Like, it boggles my mind. Like, the people like you and others who take on coaching these kids, I have a tremendous amount of respect for, because you have a lot of your work cut out for you on how to model, respectful team building behavior in these kids.
And because the B squad that I've got, we call them B men. Last year, the one thing, I said, for even though
Good night, Bob.
we would lose, I
Get some sleep. We got hockey tomorrow.
Be respectful, no matter what. Take the loss as the loss. We'll just work on getting better. And then when we won, I said, "Hey, listen," I said, "same rule still applies. Let's be professional on the win." We won yesterday, 28-15. It's the most points our group scored in the season and first couple right now that we ever have. And they, of course, were very excited. And I said, "It's awesome. It's fantastic." I says, "Remember, there's another team over there that is very dejected." And I says, "We're still B-men." I said, "So let's be professional about it." I said, "You guys, when we even get out of here," I says, "don't hoot and holler down the hallway." I says, but I says, "definitely be excited for the win." I says, "But, keep your wits about you." I says, because just as much as, one team wins, another one loses. And I said, and we were on a lot of the opposite end last year. I says, but definitely be excited that, yes, you did win this week. I says, and we've got a lot of work next week. I says, but definitely enjoy the rest of the day and be super excited about it. And they were. They totally were. And I appreciated that. But I mean, it's not something that when I first started even working with the YMCA, they're the ones who kind of led me down that path of how to basically yourself. And if they see that you yourself are respectful with everybody and how the game is played and how you're reacting with the other players and with the other coaches, they're going to follow that lead. And so that's I'm not going to say it happened overnight. It took a few years to turn around and really learn to apply that.
Well, I'm sure it did, but like the thing with like coaching, especially now, is you have all of these. So you and Adam will know this name. Was a beat reporter for the Indians and the Guardians for years. Paul Hoynes.
Hoynes or whatever, Hoynesy.
Hoynesy, yep.
Yep. His grandkids play on Thomas's hockey team.
Okay.
And that dad and that mom yell at those kids like they're going to play in the NHL tomorrow. And it drives me up a wall because the one day I even said something to the mom because she was getting super aggravated about it. I said it's youth hockey. I said they're 9, 10, and 11. Chill out. They're kids. Let them be kids.
Across a few baseball diamonds, as we've traveled around with the multiple travel teams that Bryce has done, there is a really cool sign that is on a lot of them. And it says, no contracts are being handed out. No scouts are here signing for college. These are kids. These are volunteer coaches. They're volunteer umpires or even, paid umpires that aren't in it for the money. They're not professionals. They're parents and volunteers just like you are. Everybody just have fun and let the kids be kids.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
And that's the truth. That's the honest to God's truth. I mean, a couple of years back, it was like I was really trying to work with Bryce and, yelling out and telling him, hey, gotta, cut this way, cut that way. And it's like, you know what? I'm like, I can work with him at home when it comes to game time. I got to let him do what he's going to do. Now, of course, bowling gets into a whole other ball game because that's all one-on-one and he just throws, he gets into a weird mood and then it's all over and he's got to get out of his own head. But outside of that with team sports, yeah, his basketball game, he blew 2 easy buckets and a layup, but defensively he got awesome rebounds, kicked out some great passes, and played a pretty solid game outside of that. And, all I could do was just work with him even a little bit today, just work with him on how to help him improve on putbacks or, being that close to the basket, making sure you're getting your follow through right, and that's all I can do with him and just try to reassure him that it's just going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. Just keep trying to do better. And I'm not going to sit there and yell at him.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think you can because I don't expect either of my children to play professional sports for a living. You're talking about the 1% of 1%, right?
Yeah.
Of my 2 children, the one that I could see doing it is the boy, because when he gets singularly focused on something, he has the type of drive and focus that allows him to be that successful at something. I've seen it. So I know. And so I try to foster that in the good areas, right?
Yep.
But I pushed my kids to play sports, not because I think that they'll be pro athletes, but because youth sports teaches you things that will be successful later in life. It will teach you how to deal with people that you don't get along with. It will teach you how to deal with somebody in your face arguing with you like a coach. It will teach you how to think and work under pressure. And I think those are valuable,
skill sets.
Yeah, it's a valuable skill set to have. So that's why
and it also teaches you, the reward for when you're working hard, hardworking, that there is a reward at the end, win or lose, and then the responsibility and the respect aspect as well. So again, that's why, and like you said, you're trying to, set them up into a team atmosphere where you can turn around and make some friends.
There's a kid who's in his class at his elementary school who plays for Strongsville. And so excuse me, they have a little healthy rivalry growing where like Fridays they each wear their game jerseys, and they've played each other a couple of times, and that's it's nice, but like he tries so hard to fit in and he just doesn't. It's like putting an octagon peg into a square hole, and it fits, but it doesn't, and I feel bad for him, but like it's nice to see things start to click as far like we watch the Penguins when they're on ESPN Plus all the time. And we were watching Jari the other night, and Jari did something and let a stupid goal in. And Thomas goes, he should have challenged. He should have challenged the shooter. He didn't. Or he should have butterflied there. And I'm like, okay, you can pick it up now. Now you're starting to see what other people are doing, and you get it. And that to me is fun to watch. But like I don't, as far as the attitude on the ice or on the playing field goes, I don't know how to get across to him. Like, you can't do that.
I think a small part of it might be making that connection between seeing the guy on the Penguins make the mistake and it's okay. NHLers make mistakes. It's okay to be the goalie that makes mistakes because everybody makes mistakes. Getting that to translate to the sportsmanship thing, there's a link there. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I get where you're going, and we were watching.
There's nobody. Well, you said there's nobody there that's really truly coaching him to the position. That really is that's tough when you've got guys who are literally defensemen. It's like you can sit there and you can probably translate a little bit defenseman and flipping to a forward, but when it comes to the goalie, and my buddy Tommy grilled me and filled me in on a few things here and there for years, and it was like it's just a whole other animal, and
it's you're on an island all on your own, and yep. if the defense screws up, it's your fault.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's literally, it's like almost being the pitcher.
I tried.
You're up there and you're like, all right, if I throw this over the plate right down the middle and this guy crushes it, it's my fault, and I'm the only one to blame out here.
Well, baseball is the only sport. Oh, excuse me. Baseball is the only sport where defense has the ball.
Yeah.
And so like, but with him, right after games or after practices, I'm like, dude, here's what you did really good, but here's what you need to work on.
Uh-huh.
And there's other kids whose parents come in and they're like, you were awesome. You played great. And I'm like, were you watching the same game or same practice I was? That kid was staring off into the boards for half the game. He wasn't paying attention at all.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
those two.
I try to be realistic with him.
Sure. And that's the best thing you can do is you show them the pros and the cons, because I mean, after my experiences of seeing it, that's exactly what I turn around and I do with Bryce. I definitely won't sugarcoat it. It's like, yep, you did this great and this great, and you just need to work on this a little bit more. And that has been the best way. I mean, when I watched the game film from my game so far from the past 2 weeks, I took down notes for everybody and what they did good and what they need to still work on. I went over it in practice last week. I had showed them the film, and I says, instead of doing this, I said we need to do this. Let's work on it in practice. So you aren't doing anything wrong. You are doing it exactly right. And I wish a lot more parents did do it that way.
I try, man. I like his team. They have the hard hat for the hardest worker award that they give out every game, and he wants that hard hat so bad. He tries so hard every game, and like the last game they gave it to a kid because the kid had one good shift, and I was like, well, he had one good shift. I said, I'm like Thomas has been busting his ass all season and gotten better every game and every practice. Like, I feel like that kind of award would go a long way towards boosting his confidence and making him a little bit better as far as a teammate is concerned. Because I feel like he feels that he's all alone and feels kind of singled out most of the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thanks for being my therapy session.
No, it's good. It's good conversation though. No,
I mean, that's a real conversation as opposed to us just sitting here making picks on games. I mean, seriously, that's a real conversation.
absolutely, and it's a true thing that parents definitely need to be brought to that realistic aspect of hey, like you said, it's the 1% of 1%.
And for real, I mean,
100. Oh yeah, all the way. All right. Speaking of those picks, let's get this rocking and rolling since I know we are getting crunched on some time.
It's 10 o'clock now. I say we just name the games and pick them. No numbers, no nothing. Let's just fucking go gut instinct.
And I was like,
I don't know about no numbers. I keep it to the interesting ones.
You don't understand the work I put into this.
I did damn good last week, and we didn't get to go over it because we didn't have a show.
Hey, I never pay attention to the numbers. I just pick. This is also 2 weeks in a row where I have not paid attention to my fantasy roster, and I didn't realize Green Bay was on a bye this week. So I had no defense and no kicker.
I don't want to talk about nobody paying attention to nobody's rosters. I don't even want to get started.
We're not going to start that.
I had a heart attack almost last night. Not going to happen. And for those in my leagues, I will be putting out that notice after tonight. The rosters get locked on Thursday night. So have your backup tight end, your backup receivers, your backup quarterbacks, running backs, whoever you want. You do not need to get a backup kicker or a backup defense. But as far as all of the other positions, you might want to make sure you have a backup of, because the rosters are locked. You will not be allowed to get any adds or drops or trades after Thursday.
I didn't make the playoffs, so it's fine.
Now's the time.
No. You're in a playoffs. You're in a playoffs no matter what.
Oh, God damn it. I was 5-9. Come on, man.
Yeah, the bottom group are in a playoffs and the top group are in a playoffs. Yeah, you're in a playoffs no matter what.
Let me lose this week so I can be done for the year so I don't have to pay attention to this shit anymore. It's like Zoltan NASCAR.
This is the playoffs this week. The playoffs are this week, next week, and the week following.
Say hello and get it over with. Cookie poo.
All right. Well, we have Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday this week.
So I'm just throwing out. So, George, that means trades have to happen soon. Quickly.
Yeah, it means you have to approve them.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not touching that one.
yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I'm just saying.
No, I know he and I have been discussing about two bodies back and forth.
Just saying.
We've been hemming and hawing it.
I can say that if anybody wants, I got Deshaun Watson on the block.
First up, the 49ers are at the Seahawks.
Who's quarterbacking?
For who?
What?
Remember, you said Purdy got hurt. Is he going to start?
It's going to
Oh,
it's Purdy. It's going to be Purdy. Purdy's fine.
He got a pretty name.
So,
MVP,
Doug MVP,
most valuable Purdy.
Doug took San Francisco.
Of course he did.
I'm taking the 49ers too.
Who is it? 49ers and who?
The
Seahawks.
Seahawks,
The Seahawks?
who got waxed yesterday. Was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's one of the games I picked the Seahawks in.
Yeah.
Because nobody thought Carolina was going to show up.
Listen, they cut that dead weight number 6, and good Lord.
Zolt?
I'm going to go with the 49ers. I mean, I feel Walker's going to come back this week, but still at the same time, the 49ers defense is just – that's a heck of a defense they got there. What?
Well, Walker's playing this week. He's in. He's not hurt. He's not
Well,
hurt
I
at all.
mean, okay, let's face it. He didn't practice last week. So this week, however, they listed him as limited for today. It's Monday, Thursday game. But
we'll see by Thursday morning.
Exactly.
Adam, who would you like?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I'm reluctantly taking the Niners, even though Doug took them too.
Bruiser?
I'll take the Niners.
Colts at the Vikings. This is the first Saturday game. Which
But not
also found
Saturday.
out that Nickelodeon is broadcasting these, by the way. For those
Can you
kids.
just line both teams?
Yeah, they're gonna slime the teams on Nickelodeon. So if you want to check out Nickelodeon's fun and animations with the football game.
Okay, and I said interesting numbers only. Indy at Minnesota. Minnesota is only favored by 4.
What?
I'll bet you it's because Saturday's playing on Saturday.
I see what you did there.
Give me Minnesota. Give me Minnesota. they're gonna get this win against Indy, and
I think the Vikings are seriously ticked off. I agree. Bruiser?
I have such a hard time picking the Vikings because they don't play a complete game.
You're not lying. Ooh, hey, see what I did there? It's by accident, and I did that one.
Mine was better.
Yes,
give me the Colts. Just the Colts may have a bad record, but I feel like they play a more complete game than the Vikings do.
They're also coming off a bye week, so they've had prep.
Sure.
Adam?
Neither. Oh wait, I do got to pick one, don't I?
You want the tie?
Spin the wheel.
That'd probably be my best bet because no matter what I do with the Vikings, they always do the opposite. I'll reluctantly take the Vikings just because I don't trust the Colts. Not like they're a survivor pick or nothing.
The Ravens at the Browns.
Ravens.
Legit don't know who's starting at quarterback. Not a clue.
I was gonna say
it ain't gonna be Lamar,
and it's not gonna be what's his face either.
Huntley. So it's gonna be Anthony Brown.
So it's this Anthony Brown kid.
Give me the
Undrafted free agent.
Give me the Ravens. I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Because the Browns are such a steaming pile of shit right now on all aspects that you can't put a complete game together on any facet of the game from week to week. You had, like Adam said a couple weeks ago, you had a quarterback that everybody liked that was actually starting to understand the offense and the game, and they were getting things together. And now you've switched over completely to a different guy, and he's not much better than the guy you traded away.
He will be.
I'm not saying he won't be, but
Right, but right now it's not looking good. But
you
he did
should have
improve.
just said, hey.
Isn't this his home? Isn't this his first home game?
Yep.
Yeah. And
I'll
you
take
should
the
have
Browns.
just
I'll take the Browns.
You should have just told him, hey, sit on the bench for the season. Even when you can come back, you'll be our second stringer. We're gonna let Brissett play the season out. You get used to the team, used to the teammates. Let's let all this blow over. Get through your suspension, all that, and then in the offseason, we'll start working with you as the number one.
Adam, who do you want?
I'm only taking the Browns for the simple fact that the whole quarterback crap with the Ravens. If it was Huntley, I'd probably be leaning more towards the Raven because he has this, escapability and he can scramble. I don't know nothing about this Brown kid, so I can't make a solid pick with the Ravens and be comfortable in it. I mean, I'm not comfortable with the Browns pick either, but I'll take the Browns because they're at home.
Dave, what's our numbers?
Browns favored by 2.5. The over/under is 37.5. So, yuck. I'm going to take the Browns.
The beautiful Saturday night game looks fantastic. The Dolphins at the Bills. Should be a fun one, boys and girls.
Dolphins were complaining about the weather last week. Wait till they go to Buffalo.
Indoors. In LA, and you're complaining about 55.
Yo, they got that snowstorm rolling through again. We're supposed to get all rain Thursday, and they're supposed to get a ton of snow up there again this weekend. Any chance that game gets moved?
Hang on. I don't know if we're home.
Not this time. No, I don't think it's supposed to be that bad.
I was going to say, funny story, we're at New York. Again, just the other New York team. So, I mean, they could bring it here. Come on, let's go.
No, I was going to say, I don't see anything that was the severe weather threat. So,
hey, the Bills have a better winning streak in Detroit this year than Detroit does.
Right. So, a lot of Josh Allen running, so I'll take the Bills.
I mean, Miami is kind of. I was almost considering arguing that. Miami's kind of fallen apart as late. They're not the same team that they were early on in the season, and yeah, I mean Hill is Hill and Waddle's Waddle, but Tua had a horrible game this week.
No, tell me about it.
I think Buffalo is not where you go to get stuff worked out. So give me the Bills.
Adam?
The Bills circle the wagons over the frozen fish.
Further.
I will take the Bills.
Further. Falcons at the Saints.
Oof.
Oh, God bless it. Do you want punched in the face or kicked in the nuts?
I'll take the nuts for 1,000.
Say that the numbers ain't going to help you. So
no.
I was going to say the half point. I'm sure it doesn't help whatsoever.
Give me the Saints.
I like the Saints defense better than I like anything in the Falcons, and especially since they're starting that other dude again.
Yeah, Ritter's starting.
Yeah. Zolt, who do you want?
Give me. I don't like the Saints, but I'll take them.
Yeah, even with Andy Dalton starting again.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I'm getting really mad about that. It's like, come on, just throw Winston back in there, please, because I'm sick and tired of this. Adam?
I want to take the Falcons, but I just can't do it. So give me the Saints, and I'm hoping Kamara has a decent game because he hasn't had one for me in a while.
Zolt, next up is the Steelers at the Panthers. Adam, which Panthers team are we getting this week?
I don't care which one shows up, as long as I don't care if they beat Pittsburgh 2-0 or 3-2. Just beat the Steelers because I can't stand the Steelers that much.
So your pick is?
I'm taking the Panthers, and Darnold hasn't looked horrible. Yeah, I mean, it's still early.
You got it recorded. Remember that.
I know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Number's 38.5. So this is our second of 4 games that are under 40. If you want to know how this week is going to be. The Steelers are just playing people close, and it's really pissing me off. Give me the Panthers. I picked the Steelers last week. I didn't feel right about it.
Yeah,
give me the Panthers.
I agree. I'm taking Panthers. Bruiser?
Panthers and who?
Steelers are at the Panthers.
Oh God.
Yep. That's what Vegas said too.
Give me the Steelers.
He doesn't like it.
I don't. I trust the Steelers and Tomlin more than I trust the Panthers and whatever that garbage is.
Steve Wilkes.
Next up, should be a unanimous. Eagles are at the Bears. Would anybody like the Bears?
Oof.
Not the worst spread that we have this week. The spread is 9. There is a double digit. It's not this game.
Okay. The Chiefs are at the Texans.
Found it. You found it. Chiefs are favored by 14.
I'll take the Texans and the points.
I'm not giving out any points today, sir.
After what
not the kind of picks we make.
I was going to say, after I saw what the Texans did with the Cowboys, for as much as Mahomes is screwing up, this could be a trap game, and that's not good timing for it.
Chad Henne could still win by 14.
Bad timing for what's that?
Chad Henne could still for the Chiefs.
They still beat Seattle by 10 or 11.
The Chiefs aren't the Cowboys.
Like I said, I would take the Texans and the 14 points. Straight up, I'll take the Chiefs. But I know that the running game is pretty wide open. Zolt?
I'm sorry, are we still discussing Chiefs and Texans? Why are we still here?
Bruiser?
Next.
Chiefs.
Speaking of the Cowboys are at the Jags.
And we talk about it. This is not going to be a cakewalk. Dallas is favored, though, on the road by 5.5.
I'll take the Jags.
He's just trying to ride it 2 weeks in a row. That's all. Oh, man.
The Jags have got something clicking. I mean, when Evan Ingram's the top dude scoring in fantasy for crying.
Don't even talk to me about that dude. You know how many times I dropped his ass this year in fantasy?
Thank you. Thank you very much. By the way, I have him as my backup tight end in every league. Oh, and he's starting in Zolt's. He's starting in
the Jags. The Jags are clicking. The Cowboys were clicking 2 weeks ago, and then this week happened. I don't know what's going on. Give me the Cowboys just because I don't have to give the points.
Bruiser, who would you like?
I do not want the Jaguars. Not at all. Give me the Cowboys. Sure, the Jags are clicking, but they're the Jags. Have you seen what the other Khan has done in the wrestling world? I mean, just because you put something together 2 weeks in a row doesn't mean that you can do it full time.
Adam, who would you like?
Give me Jerry's kids.
Doug took the Cowboys, by the way.
Oh.
Great.
I'm sorry. Should I have said that first?
Yeah, but that's
It doesn't matter.
Next up, Lions are at the Jets.
This one's a
This
tough
I am going to give you numbers on this one. The over-under is 44.5. The Jets are favored by 1 at home.
By 1?
And give me my Detroit Lions.
Did you say that with a straight face? I see
Yes,
this.
he did.
I did. There was a little bit of a smirk, but I said it with a straight face.
He said it with a lot of confidence too.
And as we all know, it matters.
What's that?
As we all know, that's the only thing that matters. Just say it with confidence.
Bruiser, who would you like?
The Lions.
Adam?
Dan Campbell and the knee biters.
Doug also took the Lions.
God.
I'm going to take the Jets.
Is Mike White even playing? 'Cause I know he took a hell of a hit.
He's supposed to, but we will see. We'll see how the week goes.
Oh, boy. The first of the 4 o'clock games. I'd just like to flush. Maybe next year we just take the ugliest game and just call it a flush, and we just flush it. Because this one totally needs to be flushed. The battle of the backup QBs, the Cards are at the Broncos.
Oh, good God.
Like I said, if there's a game to flush, this
I'm
is the other under 40 over under.
Yes, this is number 3 of 48.5. I'm amazed you can actually bet on this game right now, because I would just think this is one of those where they would pull it off the market for a day, just considering the fact that what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd make it even to flip and bet who you want.
Arizona's favored by 2.5. I'm going to go with the Cardinals just because I'm at that point I cannot bet on Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen Rippon play. I like Rippon better. I'll take the Broncos. Sutton should be back, I think, by then, too.
Hey, I don't care. Jerry Jeudy went off for me yesterday. I'll take it. I've been waiting for that.
He did. Yes, he did. He had a hell of a day. Adam, who would you like?
God. I guess I got a little bit more trust in Colt McCoy than I do Rippon, so I take the Cards, I guess. I don't like it, but I will.
Bruiser? Doug took the Cards, by the way.
I know.
And
If I have a crappy week, I'll just blame Doug because he picked everything that I did.
You know what? Spin me the wheel.
Whoa. Hello. Okay. Been a while since we've had to tag the wheel. So the Colts and Commanders were there last. Holy cow. All righty. And the wheel we go. And he gets the Cods. The wheel says the Cods. Oh.
Cards.
Patriots at the Raiders.
Patriots.
Over.
To hell with the Raiders. There's no over-under above 50 this week. The number here is 44.5.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah. Yes.
I was wanting to see the Raiders go 32-12 and then lose, 34-32. Looking forward to the next big Raider bust.
You stole my thunder because I was going to say, how much are we spotting the Patriots for or how much are we giving the Raiders before they blow it?
Right?
Hey, if there's a team that the Patriots can actually figure out their offense against, this is it.
All right, I'll give it to you. Doug took the Raiders.
Shocking.
Actually, it hasn't because he hasn't been picking them lately.
Give me New England.
Adam?
I don't know. This is a tough one. Patriots, screw it.
Bruiser?
Patriots, obviously.
I got to go with Doug on this one. I think the Raiders at home, it's in the vacuum. Why not? The Patriots are going back and forth because they're in Arizona right now. They got to fly back home and then fly back out.
Yeah, they're tied at 13 right now with Arizona.
Titans at the Chargers. This one's got to be super close.
Chargers favored by 3 at home.
Huh. I think Mr. Herbert needs to get off the schneid. I think I'm going to take the Chargers.
I keep waiting for it to happen. It's going to happen. Probably not in the playoffs, but, give me the Chargers.
Bruiser?
Chargers and who?
Titans at the Chargers.
Oh, good.
In LA.
Give me the Titans.
Adam?
Chargers, because I'm still waiting for Herbert to have a good day in fantasy as well.
Now this one I hope is on the main 4 o'clock national. The Bengals at the Bucks. I'm taking the Bengals. I want to see Brady go down again.
Yeah, give me Cincinnati.
Adam?
I'm taking the Bengals just because right now they're playing like they're the hottest team in the NFL right now. You can't go against them at this moment.
Bruiser?
Who they?
I was going to say, that was a stupid question. Now we got to do the Sunday night. The New York Giants at Washington.
Look, hang on. I understand. This game got flexed to this. If you think this is bad, that's all I'm saying. Continue.
Oh, no. What are the numbers?
Oh, sorry. The numbers. Commanders are favored by 4.5.
Over the Giants?
Yeah, the over.
The over-under is what?
40.5.
Good Lord.
Well, they tied at 20 last time, so.
And what game did they flex out?
Half a point.
They flexed the Denver game out, I think. The Denver game, I think, was here.
Oh, Denver and the
If I remember
Cardinals.
right.
Yeah.
The tie is available because they've already tied once.
They could have made the Bengals at the Bucks this Sunday night. It would have been more interesting.
If the Commanders win, does that they're
only 6 and 7.
They're 6 and 7, but they're still like they're not anywhere close to mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
No, right now they're in the wild card right now. The Giants are marked in the hunt, even though with the tie. With all the tiebreaker stuff, Washington is in at the moment with the tie.
Give me the Commanders.
Yeah, they said they're sticking with Heineke, even though Vince is healthy. I'm going Washington. Doug took the Giants.
I'm going to stick with Washington. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Washington. Again, Heineke's not playing bad. And Daniel Jones, teams have figured out that if you just stop Saquon, Daniel Jones isn't going to beat you.
Mm-mm.
Or I should say his receivers, because what receivers does he have? Kenny Galladay, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Adam, who do you want?
I'm gonna roll with Heineke.
Ben, Monday Night Football.
When I said if you think this is bad,
Oh, my.
here we are.
We get Baker Mayfield visiting Aaron Rodgers. The Rams are at the Packers. How bad could it possibly be, Zolt?
Packers are favored by 8. And the number's 39.5. This is your other under 40.
39.5 and favored by 8. Oh, wow. This could be ugly. This could be real ugly, especially for as bad as that Packers defense is.
My problem is I could see Aaron Rodgers totally screwing the Lions over and losing this game.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Rams. Doug took the Packers, by the way.
I'm taking the Packers too. I just don't at home. I don't think they're going to lose that.
This is the Packers. Anything?
I'm not laying 8 points, but I'm taking the Packers.
Bruiser,
I will take the Packers.
Adam,
Packers.
okie dokie. Can't believe I'm actually going to take Baker Mayfield. God, what's the medication? Medication is going to make me crazy.
Before we get out of here in the next 2 minutes, I have found a new Twitter handle that is my kind of crazy. It is called Mug Shotties, and it is just mug shots of hot chicks and their crimes. And some of them are insane. One girl on there was arrested for double murder and allegedly cut up both of her victims and put them in 55-gallon drums to hide them.
Yippee.
Another one was a high school biology teacher who was arrested for having sex with two 16-year-old students literally 2 weeks after she took the job.
Alrighty then.
So if you feel like you're crazy, there's far more crazy out in the world.
Touche. If you had not heard, the Mets are literally spending anything and everything, and I think they're spending money that they may have stolen from the Yankees even, because they got the Japanese phenom for 5 years, $75 million.
A year?
What luxury tax?
Yeah, what they're not worried about the luxury tax. The owner of the Mets, that's why they came up with it, because they am.
This is why this is a subject for another show, but this is why baseball needs a salary cap.
And right now, that Mets pitching staff, oh boy, you keep your fingers crossed and go to churches and everything if you are a humongo Mets fan, because you are praying that staff stays healthy all year.
Because they got Scherzer now, right?
And Verlander.
Scherzer,
Verlander.
Yeah.
Plus this Japanese dude, whose ERA, by the way, 2.42.
That's in Japan. They don't have steroids in Japan. We have steroids here.
Still, yeah. Oh, they also got Jose Quintana too. Yeah,
well, that's a great name.
They literally they spent the money. They are trying to pull a Yankee. They really are. They are paying anybody and everybody, and are like, "Yep, we're all in."
Well, I gotta go scroll Twitter and hang out with my wife. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Later, bud.
Catch you later. All right, folks. We will catch you on the flip side as we've run into a little OT tonight, but it was
next week's the last show for the year, right?
No.
I thought we were taking off the Monday because of Christmas being on Sunday. I didn't know what the deal was with that.
No, next week.
You think we schedule these things?
Well, no, that's true.
Next week's the 19th.
Right, I'm saying in 2 weeks. Like next week's the last one before.
Yeah, we've got one more next week, and then yes, we're off for the 2 Mondays.
Next week is the holiday extravaganza.
Yep.
All right, I'm running out of here, boys. I'll see you.
Yay or nay on Barking Idiots tomorrow night?
No, because Clint's gone.
That's right, Clint's gone. My bad.
It would just be barking idiot.
Yeah, literally, and I'm not barking by myself.
That's what she said. Catch you on the flip side. Oh.
Roll the credits.